Welcome back to my channel. George Boomer Smith here again. Now, this is the fourth video on Module 2 Python Fundamentals. Okay, in this video we are looking at data types. Now, in the last video we worked on some methods when it comes to the string data type. Okay, from video 2 we've been looking at the string data type, and right now we are still talking about the string data type. Now, in this video I'm going to be looking at indexing and slicing. Okay, how can we extract some items from a particular string, or how can we get a substring out of a particular string. Okay, these I'm going to look at, and then more. So without wasting much of your time, let's just move down to an IDE and see how we can get this rolling. So for this we are going to create a new string, and then we'll start with that. So the string I'm going to create, let's call it st1. So this is going to be smarter global. So let's say that's smarter global. So this is string we have, smarter global st1. Now what we want to do is to extract some items from this list, but before we do that, let's see the length of the list, or the length of the string, sorry. So the length of the string we have here is 15. Now take note, when you're counting characters you have in a particular string, everything is inclusive. Spaces, special characters, and all alphabets are inclusive. So the length of the string we have here is 15. Now for us to index the string, indexing in Python starts from 0. So this S we have here is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, up to, then this should be index 14 since we have 15 characters. So L should be index 14. So if I want to extract this M here, a simple way for me to extract M is to use a square bracket, and then I put the index there, in this case, which is 1. If I want to extract this L, I'll do the same thing, st1. Then we say this is index 14, so let's see if that will work out. Okay, that's correct. But what if I don't want to count to know the length first before I do whatever I want to do there to extract the last item? There are two possible ways we can use. We can say st1, give me the length of st1, then subtract 1 from it. Which means if I want to extract this item here, which is A, this A I have here, sorry, if I want to extract this A, then I can go ahead to say st1, give me the length of st1, then remove 2 from it. So that's going to extract the A we have there. But Python makes everything easy, because in Python you can actually start counting from the back. Okay, you can start from for instance, I have st1. I can decide to start counting from this instead of counting from this part here. So if I want to count from this, Python use negative indices in that. So this is index of -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on. So for me to extract the last item, all I need to do is to say that's index of -1. If I want to extract the item before that, I'll say that's index of -2, and that's going to extract the item before that. Okay, so these are ways you can extract a particular item from a string. But what if you want to slice through a string? Now for you to slice through a string, slicing simply means you're extracting not just one item but 2 or more items out of a string. So for me to slice through a string, we use this syntax. This S, let's call it S1 column S2 column S3. Now what this means is this: S1 is the starting index, S2 is the stopping index, while S3 is the step size. Now most times if you give it just 2 of these out of the 3, okay, let me just show you what I mean. So I'll comment this. So let's say I do this S1, I say 1 column 4. What this means is that I want to start extracting from index 1 down to index 4, but one thing you have to notice is that the last index is not inclusive. It doesn't take in the last index, so it will take from index 1 and it will stop at index 3. So if we try that to see, we are going to get MAR. Now it is MAR because this is index 1, this index 2, and this index 3. So it stopped at R. It didn't get to the 4th index, to index 4. It stopped at index 3. Which means if I want to get this T, which is at index 4, then I'm going to say that should be 1 down to 4. 1 to 5, then it's going to take the T inclusive. Now if I want to start from the beginning, I want to start from A down to T, then what I should do, I can say ST1 from 0 down to 5, or I can possibly exclude the starting index. So when you exclude starting index, it is by default going to be 0. The same thing if I want to take the last 3 items. I want to take the last 3 items, which means I want to take BAL, or let's say I want to take OBA. If I want to extract OBA, I need to know the index of O, and since this is 14, this should be 13, this should be 12, and this should be 11. So since I want to extract okay, this is 14, this is 13, so I want to take from O down to A. So from index 12, right, that's 14, 13, 12, 11. From index 11 down to index 13, that's what I want to take. Since I have to take from index 11 to 13, then what should I do? What I have to do is to say from 11 take to 14. So which means it's not going to take index 14, it will stop at index 13. Okay, so that's OBA. But if I want to include the last item, all I have to do is to say from 11 take to index 15. I can say okay, from 11 take to index 17, take to index 30, whatever I have there is going to do the same thing. Now I can just say from 11 take to the last index. So the same thing happens here. When you don't give it the last index, it assumes the last index to be the last term you're going to take, so it's going to include the last term. But what if you want to jump through some terms? Let's use another string for example. Here I have the string 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and I have, okay, let's stop at 9. So I want to take from 1, I want to take the odd items there. For me to extract the odd items there, all I need to do is to say I'm going to start from index 0 with a step size down to the last item, which is -1, or something before the last item. So I will include it with a step size of 2. So I'm saying start from 0, move to the last item. So I didn't include the last item, so for that reason it's going to take it to be the very last. Then I'm going with a step size of 2. So the third argument I have is for the step size. So once you do this, it's going to give you 1 3 5 7 9. But if I want the even numbers out of that, then all I need to do is to say start from index 1, still move with the step size of 2, but give me the even numbers. That's what it means. From index 1, which is means it's going to start from 2, it will move down to 4 to 6 to 8, and that's where it's going to end. So that's how you extract even items. Okay. The same thing, I may want to extract the last two items using negative index. If I want to extract the last two items negative index, I will say, okay, take from -2 down to the end. That's going to give me the last two items using negative index. If you want to reverse the string, you can use negative index to reverse the string by saying column -1. So that's going to take the string and reverse the string. So instead of you having from 1 down to 9, now you're having from 9 down to 1. Okay, that's how you reverse a string using negative indices. You just say -1, it will do that for you. So this is about slicing of strings. Now, since you can slice a string and you can index a string, you can also use this concept to try to replace a particular item in a string. But take note, strings are immutable, so when you try to replace, you're not actually replacing. If you want to replace, you have to create a new string out of that. So for that reason, I'm going to use examples to illustrate this later on. I'm not going to show it here, okay? So see that in later videos. So that's about indexing and substring or slicing of strings, and also how we can reverse a string. Now, possibly you have a number, an integer or a float, and you want to convert it to a string. It is very easy. For you to convert a string, you use the str method. So if I have a number, let's say I have x is equal to 23. If you check the type of x, you know that type of x is integer. But I can say I want to convert x down to a string. Now if I check the type of x, you see the type of x is now string. Check what x is. X is 23 as a string. Now, another funny thing we can do with strings is to multiply a string by an integer. Now, when you multiply a string by an integer, what you're trying to do is to concatenate the string. What I mean by that is this. If I say x plus x, that will give me 23 concatenated. But I can as well do this by saying x times 2. Or I can say x times 3. So if I want to have this symbol, the equal to symbol, 20 times, all I need to say is equal to times 20, and then it's going to give me that symbol 20 times. So this is how you can still extend a string or concatenate a string simply by multiplying the string with an integer. Okay, so next, what are we going to look at? I told you guys we are going to look at string slicing, indexing, and some other methods we can have on string, or some other things we can do on strings. Okay, so what I'm going to look at next is to see how we can use this concept we've seen so far to solve some problems. Number one, we are going to see how can we use strings to tell how many words are contained in a sentence. So we are going to take the sentence from the user, then verify how many words are contained in that sentence. Okay, I think this should be very easy. So we can call it counting words. Right, I think that would be a nice one. Counting words. So first we are going to take the sentence from the user. So let's call that sentence. So ask the user to input to enter a sentence. So the user would enter a sentence. Now we want to convert. So how do you think we might convert this to? How do you think we might verify how many strings or how many words we have in this sentence? One good way, I think we've done something similar to this. Converting it to slicing it, then okay, we've done something similar to this. Now I think we have, let's check, it's sounding familiar. Okay, we haven't. Yeah, we haven't. So let's do that. So one thing I could do is to split the sentence into different words, which we could call the token, then count how many words are there. That's one way. The second method would be for us to tell how many spaces we have in this word, in this sentence further. Based on the number of spaces, if I have, for example, if you look at this, I have 1, 2, 3 words, and there are how many spaces? 2 spaces. So what I could do is to count the number of spaces and then increase that count by 1. That's also going to tell me how many words I have in the string. Okay, but there's a shortcoming to the second method, and we're going to see the shortcoming and we'll see how we can take care of that. So let's see the first method first. So the first method, we are going to split this sentence. So let's call it split. We'll split the sentence into tokens, into different words. That's what it means. So if we split, what are we going to get? So let's say I have, this is me, coming. Okay, we didn't print that out. Let's do that. So let's say sentence splits, and I say this is me coming. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So all we need to do now, since we have this, we just have to return the length of this. Right? I think that will do the work. So we say the length of this. So this is me what coming. So that we have 4. So this is the first method, but let me show you guys the second method. Now the second method is not what I would advise, but I'm doing it for the sake of something else I want to illustrate. So the second method, what I have to do, instead of splitting it, I'm going to keep counts. So I'm going to call it space counts. Space count. So space counts, it's going to be this dot counts. So I want to count how many spaces I have. So once I keep count of that, so let's see what space count has for us. So this is me. So space count is giving us 2. So if we add 1 to it, that will become our result. Okay, so I can say number of words is equal to space counts plus 1. What? That will do the job. So now I can print. Saying dash contains dash number of words, or let's put it like this. So we can say dash, which is the sentence. So let's put that in quotes, single quotes, since we've already used double quote outside. So you see what it looks like. So dash contains this number of words. So let's say this is me coming, and that's, I forgot to put the F for formatting here. So let's run that again. This is me coming. So we say this is me coming contains 4 number of words, or contains 4 words. think that would be nice. Contains 4 words. Okay, but there's an issue with this. The issue with this is, what if I keep some amount of spaces and then I say this is me coming, and then I have some more spaces, and then you run this. It's saying this is me coming contains 13 words, and this is not meant to contain 13 words. So what do we do? So if I'm using this method, what I have to do now, like I said, this is not the method I would advise to use, but I'm explaining it for the sake of this illustrate this very new method I want to introduce to you guys. So what I have to do is, before I keep counts, it is better I split, I trim the sentence. Trimming simply means I want to remove any white spaces. Okay, so I can trim it from the right, trim it from the left, or I can just trim it entirely. Okay, so the word they use here is that we want to strip what we have here. So I'm going to strip it of white spaces by default. So I'm saying strip all the white spaces. That's what this is doing. Then keep count of whatever you have there. So this time around, if I say spaces, this is me coming, and then I have spaces, and on that I still have it contains 4 words. Okay, but if you notice something, the final result is still having the spaces. However, the answer, the number of words we have here is actually correct, but our spaces are still there. So what do we do to those spaces? So for those spaces, what we can do is to include this strip here also. That's one thing we can do to take care of that issue. So we can say spaces, this is me coming, spaces, and then we have this is me coming contains 4 words. So that's going to end this video. If you have any question, any comments, any complaint, go ahead and put it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.